answer to this gentleman's question. My last name is pronounced Mignogna, like tomorrow in Spanish. Mignogna. Okay, I'll tell you what. I think maybe the best thing to do is probably just. Do you want to take some? Do you want to take some questions, or do you want to talk about like maybe what you're working on right now that you can talk about?
Nobody cares, really. Let's just talk to the people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why don't you start us off, Mr. Steve?
You were so enthusiastic. We've talked before, but I have to find out what's wrong.
Oh, Winry. Hello, Winry.
Will you marry me, Kimmy? Oh, man.
Kimmy, will you marry me? But don't tell my brother. Because he thinks he's my #1. That was a joke, not in any way yowie-tastic. Really? Come here quick. We don't, listen, we're gonna do this all weekend long. So come here. I don't want to take too much of our time together doing this. What's your name? Turn around, Christian. Don't look at me, don't look! Kristen, how'd you like to go out on a date with Phantom Dark? All right, who's got a question for Mr. Steve Blum? Yes.
Pointy knees? Yes, I don't think.
I sure hope I translated that right.
If I understood that correctly, it was how do I feel about a badass character wearing pointy elf's boots? Well, sometimes the character is badass enough where it doesn't matter. And how would you like to be kicked by those pointy elf boots? It's a lethal weapon. Ow.
Okay, you pick somebody.
Right here. Yes. For those of you who can't hear in the back, she wants to know my thoughts about Keanu Reeves playing Spike Spiegel. Okay, you guys, here are my thoughts. It's a live action movie. It's not the original, you know, so I'm really hoping that because Watanabe-san is executive producing on this thing, I trust his eye and his ear, and if they give him enough power, it's going to be good no matter what Keanu does. And I'm really hoping for the best. I really wish him the best, and I hope Keanu does a great job. And I want to be part of it, so if you know somebody who's working on it, yeah. No, I would love to do.
Maybe you could dub his voice.
I think it would be nice to do a voiceover for it, maybe some sort of, you know, opening monologue or something, just to introduce the thing. But the only way something like that's going to happen is if you guys write. You got to write them, and you got to call them, and just, you know, get it going, because they're not gonna do it on their own. Thank you for the question.
Whoa! Bang! Whoa! Did you see that, Faye? Yes, with the beautiful cosplay.
Alright, she wants me to do Leron, you guys in the back. When you screw it in, give it a hard, manly twist, hon. Ow, wrong bolt.
Starting early this weekend.
Have you ever drained the crankcase of a mecha? Ew.
Your turn.
Could we train you to be an awesome voice actor? Well, if we have time after this, sure.
Steve's free the rest of the evening.
I got nothing.
You guys, you know what? That's a really great. Let's get serious for 1 second, because I know there are a lot of people in the room that would love to get into voice acting. In fact, we're not going to get to all of the questions, but often many of the questions are, how did you get into this business, and how can I get into this business? So let me just tell you real quick, you guys, there are really two things about voice acting, okay? The first one is acting. That's the real key to voice acting. You guys remember the days when American dubs were really bad? I mean, way back, even before some of you were born. They were really bad. You know why? I don't know if you, this is what I heard. Hold on. Silence. I heard that way back when they were dubbing anime into English, they would get radio guys to do the dubs, because radio guys on the microphone, and they know how to work a microphone. And so they would hire these radio guys, but the radio guys weren't actors. And so while they had these great voices, the acting and the stories fell a little flat because they weren't actors. And some things really dramatically changed about 15 years ago or so when they started hiring actors to play character roles. And so the first thing that you guys need to know is get as much experience as you can in acting. There are very, very few exceptions. There are a few, but very few exceptions. People that are voice actors are actors first. They've been doing theater, on camera, stage, a long time.
Waiting tables.
Some of them even have degrees in theater. So acting is the first thing. And the second thing is, you gotta be where the work is. I mean, if I wanted to be a country western singer, I would probably have to move to Nashville, because that's where that kind of thing is done primarily. So you really have to be where this kind of work is, and that would primarily be Los Angeles, Dallas, Vancouver, a little bit in New York City, a little bit in Houston, but there aren't a lot of places for you to do this kind of work. Now there's a difference between voiceover and voice acting. Voiceover is, if you're suffering from hemorrhoids, you know, someday. Commercials, that's voiceover. Voice acting is like playing characters in shows. The character has a story arc and stuff. So you have to be where that kind of work is. I'm sure there's plenty of voiceover work in Phoenix. It's a big city. But if you're interested in voice acting, get as much acting experience as you can, and then you have to kind of be where the work is done.
And pray a lot.
There are a lot of people who want to do this, and we've been very, very blessed to get to do something that we love.